British Prime Minister Boris Johnson has expressed disappointment at the lack of progress in negotiations with the EU on a post-Brexit trade agreement. A decision to break off the talks will only be made after the upcoming EU summit, said Johnson's spokesman after the Prime Minister's phone call with EU Commission President Ursula von der Leyen and Council President Michel. That was some weeks ago. I just quoted myself from another video. Now, weeks later, we are in exactly the same position. And we still don't know how it's continuing. So what does Brexit mean? Until or as long as no trade agreement is concluded between Great Britain and the EU, nobody knows for sure. But if a deal is not reached, the outcome becomes clearer and the consequences more extreme. Historically, it's very rare for a country to set up trade barriers with its largest trading partner. From a purely research perspective, it's a very interesting experiment that's taking place. If an agreement is not reached, trade between the UK and the EU would follow the rules of the World Trade Organization, the WTO. Some of the people commenting here really would love to see. I know some scientists who love to see that too. Service providers such as lawyers, management consultants and financial service providers could only work to a limited extent across borders because the WTO doesn't cover much of that. More dramatic, well, from a German point of view, would be the impact on the sales of goods that would be subject to duties or taxes once they cross the border. It could hit automakers and farmers worst. Cars and parts would have to be charged 10% duty every time they, finished or not, roll over the border. And the dues on certain cuts of beef can go up to 90%. A no deal would turn everything upside down. The tariffs are such that exports become uneconomical. You should believe that agriculture will then no longer be able to export anything. However, the economies of Great Britain and the EU are closely intertwined. Last year, 2019, the UK sold 43% of its exports to Europe. European statisticians have not yet released any post-Brexit trade figures. But the IMF recently estimated that 13% of European exports go to the UK. This is uncomfortable for the EU. It is certainly an economic blow for the UK. But not to be compared with the hardship that would hit Great Britain. We will gain a lot of experience. We will see how quickly retail reacts, which industries are more affected and how great the effects are. Deal or no deal? One thing is certain. Border controls will come because the UK has decided to leave the customs union with the EU. If everything doesn't go smoothly, you have to expect delays. For example, the queue of trucks on the main road to the port of Dover in September when French border guards went on strike. To avoid all of that, a deal must be completed by December 31st or the deadline will be extended. The latter part is very complicated and I really don't believe that will happen. And even if there is no deal, there is a risk that the talks will start again at some point. And as I said in one video before, the EU already made clear they can imagine not to have a deal from January 1st, but to just have 2-3 months of chaos and then have a deal. They are prepared for that. That's what they state. Many consider it unthinkable to impose tariffs like this for a very long time. And if you want to stay informed, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I'll see you in my next video. Viel Spaß!